Fashion is fluid and forever changing. What was once considered feminine now is masculine, and what was normal is now frowned upon, and what was fashionable then is now horrific to be seen out in public in. So, why do we keep the idea that what we wear on the outside determines who we are on the inside? This analysis argues how the clothing that we wear on our bodies doesn't determine our gender expression, and how fashion is found to be ever-changing in gender expression, history and culture, as well as modern-day society. We'll be talking about gender and gender expression, history and culture of clothing, and then modern issues and backlash. Biological sex and gender are concepts that get mixed up and confused often in our modern-day society, as well as constantly in history. Sex usually refers to a person's biological characteristics, whereas gender refers to socially constructed roles and norms, stated by Kaufman, Ishleman, and Curver. Gender is something that people have many opinions on. While some people believe that there are strictly only two genders, it is actually more accurate to say that gender is fluid and there is a spectrum that people fall under. Moscalo wrote, "Gender is psychological, cultural, and social." This is because gender can be thought of more as a social construct, unlike biological sex. Gender is a product of society and their opinions. He discussed this as well as the idea that if society determines what is masculine or feminine, then society can change what is considered masculine or feminine, or anything in between. If we think of gender like a spectrum, then we can understand how it's hard to judge gender expression both through appearance and fashion. Yet despite that, people still do. For example, when a cis man wears a skirt, they are often labelled as gay or trans, when in reality they are more secure and comfortable in their sexuality and masculinity. For women, when we choose to wear something that can be seen as too revealing in the eye of the public, a woman is outrightly deemed and labelled a slut. Yet, if a woman chooses to present herself in a more comfortable and casual attire while wearing minimal makeup, she is seen as portraying herself as lazy, a slob, or not well put together. These ideals are one that have been fought against by women for decades. However, with the modernization and popularization of a tradwife lifestyle and the manosphere ideals, traditional gender roles are becoming more normalized. Nowadays, it is a growing trend for people to get hate for the way they dress if it doesn't align with their traditional ideals and social expectations. In response to these influences, it's more common for people to abide by these societal rules and stay inside the box rather than freely expressing themselves outside of it. Despite these popularized ideas and values being pushed onto this generation, we aim to work against them because this is not what fashion is about. Fashion is about the freedom to express oneself without limitation. Fashion for Change talks about how fashion is a powerful way to express ourselves, understand different cultures, and create art, and discusses how clothing is a self-expression. The author stating that the creativity of fashion allows for people to break social norms, challenge societal expectations, and redefine beauty standards. People can dress however they want, as crazy as they want, and out of the norm as they want. Fashion is forever changing, and so is the way that people express their gender.
Ideas about what girls and boys should wear have varied over time and place, and these reflect social values more than fixed biological facts. Many of the things now considered feminine were once seen as masculine and as marks of social power for men. In the 17th and 18th centuries in Europe, for example, it was common for elite men to wear wigs, makeup, and jewelry and high-heeled shoes. High-heeled shoes were originally worn by men and were a sign of wealth, social status, and power. Instead of being seen as feminine, these dress items signaled power and wealth, and this shows that some aspects of gender are socially constructed rather than biologically determined.
Li et al.
Dress codes also varied between cultures. Quilts are seen as masculine dress in Scotland, and many Pacific cultures have a traditional dress for men called the lawlawa. Robes and tunics have also been worn as male dress across many parts of Asia and the Middle East. This shows that trousers are not a universal sign of masculinity. Ideas about children's clothing and colors have also varied. Young children in the past often wore similar clothing regardless of sex, and pink was originally seen as a color for boys, while blue was a color for girls. Research shows that these color associations are culturally reinforced rather than biologically based.
李而破
Overall, these examples show that clothing and color are not naturally gendered.
History says fashion is fluid. Modern media says
Hold my beer.
today, digital platforms act as a giant invisible border patrol for gender expression, and it loves a good double standard. Women in suits, men in skirts.
Finish him!
When women wear trousers, the media frames it as borrowing status or making a powerful statement. But when a man crosses that line, the reception instantly shifts to mockery, concern, or outright homophobia. Why? Because society treats gender like a ladder, not a level playing field. According to sociologists Raewyn Connell and Mimi Shippers, our culture places masculinity at the top of the power pyramid and femininity at the bottom, meaning that moving toward masculinity is often seen as more acceptable than moving toward femininity. So when a man willingly puts on a dress, mainstream media frames it as a loss of value. The internet freakout over Harry Styles on the cover of Vogue screaming "Bring back manly men" wasn't actually about fashion. It was a panic attempt to protect traditional male power from being threatened by a piece of fabric. But then, there's this guy.
Mark Bryant, mechanical engineer, football coach, regular guy who loves to wear 4-inch stiletto.
Mark got bored of playing great corporate suits. His motivation? Pure creative joy. He says, "What I wear does not change the person that I am." I want to connect it to what Dr. Laurie Sulpicio said, wherein gender identity is about how you live your life, expressing yourself within your understanding of being a man or a woman. But the internet comment sections do not care. Despite being a straight cisgender man, Mark is constantly hit with a barrage of weaponized homophobia online. So what have we learned? Double standards, misogyny, and homophobia are actively maintained by media platforms to keep the gender binary locked in place. The closet doors are heavily guarded because crossing them threatens the status quo.
Clothing doesn't define gender. It never has and it never will.